Careers in the modern world are pretty stressful, and knowing whether to get a job that pays well or that you enjoy or that the world needs is a really difficult problem to solve. And I've really struggled with this problem in the past, but reading these 5 books here has really helped me feel more relaxed about my career and just given me so many tools and resources and knowledge to use to kind of make better decisions and feel overall just way better about the process. So if you're feeling stressed about your career or want to change jobs or want to change industries or want to rewind and start again, then hopefully this video will really help you out, and these books, I definitely recommend reading them. So let's get started with the first one. So I'm going to do the books in the order that I read them, and the first one that I read is Think Big, Take Small Steps and Build the Future That You Want by Dr. Grace Lordan. So I love this idea of building the future that you want. The point of the book is that you imagine yourself in the future, and she calls this version of yourself Me Plus, and you think about what skills is that person going to need and what experiences you're going to need to get to that point. And this idea of like building the future that you want was like really new to me. I'd never really thought about it in this way. Obviously I'd heard about kind of imagining a point in the future and working towards it, but the way she lays it out in here and the way she breaks it down seems really accessible. It's about making really small practical changes to your day-to-day to hopefully working towards a life that you love in the future. Your life won't just randomly be exactly how you want it to be. You have to think about what you want your life to look like, and then you have to actively take steps towards it. Grace Lordan is a behavioral scientist and has a real focus on careers and the workplace and things like that. And so she kind of incorporates throughout the book lots of different behavioral science insights that we should be aware of when we are planning our career and when we're thinking about our career and our job as well. And I've made a video about that, so you can click on that here if you want to watch. But it's just a really awesome kind of practical summary of approaching building a career that you really love by making really small changes over time. The next book is Designing Your Life, Build the Perfect Career Step by Step by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. And this is the best book of the 5, I think, because it breaks down how to approach life problems and career problems using a design thinking approach. Bill and Dave are both engineers at the University of Stanford, and they have real experience with this process called design thinking, which is the process that you go through whenever you want to come up with an engineering solution of any kind. Like everything around us is designed by someone because they had a problem and they came up with a solution to solve that problem, whether it's chairs, whether it's cameras, whether it's laptops, whatever it is. And they approach these life problems that we have and career problems that we have with the same process. It's by far the most practical book that I've found around specifically what to do and how to think about what your life looks like as a whole and what your career, how your career fits into that. And they basically take you through this process of thinking about where you are now, what direction you want to go in, how to think about all the different options that are available to you, how to be unstuck if you feel stuck in your career, how to refine your ideas, how not to get a job, then how to kind of design a job that really works for you, how to test them out, and then how to become kind of really resilient and immune to failure, is what they say. So this is the book that I would recommend reading most. It's just so amazing and has changed my my perspective on so many things. I'm going to make a series on all the chapters in this book because I just think it is so valuable. So if you're interested in that, then stick around and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, next one. The next book that I'd recommend reading is called The Squiggly Career by Helen Tupper and Sarah Ellis. And they made this book because they were kind of frustrated by the term career ladder and how everyone still like approach their careers in this way where you kind of start at the bottom and you just climb every rung of the ladder until you get to the top. And the squiggly career is the kind of modern career where you jump around loads of different things and do loads of different things, but they break down how we should approach the squiggly career into 5 areas. So the 5 things are knowing what our super strengths are, and our super strengths are the things that we're really, really good at, and our strengths are just the things that we're good at. And then they talk about how we should know what our values are, so whether our values are like variety, money, freedom, achievement, that kind of thing. Then we need to know what our confidence gremlins are. So where are we held back at work because we have a lack of confidence, and where can we focus our efforts to improve our confidence? And then it's about having a really strong network. So just knowing lots of people and having a really strong group of people around you to help support you and help you navigate your career. And then the 5th thing is future opportunities. So how you can like future-proof your career by always having opportunities available to you. So this is a really awesome book, and it's like really practical as well, like the first two, about how to reflect on the things that you want out of your career and how to navigate a constantly changing career, but always doing things that you love, that motivate you, with people that you really want to work with, and kind of basically being really aware of what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and how to then apply that to loads of different jobs and loads of different industries. It's really cool. It's definitely made me think a lot about how careers can change, and I just like the term squiggly career a lot because it just makes me feel a bit more relaxed than I don't have to know exactly where I'm going. The next book is The Pathless Path by Paul Millard, and so this is more of like more like a novel. It's more like a story of Paul's life, and he talks about how he went from the default path, working as a consultant in America, and how he was always on the default path until he was around 30. And by the default path, he means like the set expectations and norms that we have in society, that we all feel kind of pressured to conform to, like getting a good university degree, then getting a good job, and then having a family and owning a home and things like that. And he moves on to the pathless path, which is more about more about having an uncertain future, and how that's not a problem to be solved. An uncertain future is something that we should be okay with, and we don't have to always know where we're going. We don't have to always have answers to our questions. We can figure it out as we go. Paul's just a fantastic writer and writes about these problems in a really awesome way, and it just makes you feel better about not really knowing where you're going, and how you don't have to be on the default path, and how the world is a lot more exciting actually if you're not on the default path. There's just so many more opportunities and things to try that we don't even know, and when we're kind of boxed into this way of thinking about the default path, like the good job with the high salary, or as high a salary as we can get, it limits us, and life is just more about exploring the world and trying new things and making new friends along the way. It's quite an inspiring book, and it definitely just makes you feel more relaxed and gives you lots of ideas for things that you can try. So I would definitely recommend reading this book. The final book is called Range by David Epstein, and the tagline is How Generalists Can Triumph in a Specialized World. And I actually haven't finished reading this one yet, but it's so good and the idea is so important that I had to include it in this video. And the first chapter is called Tiger versus Roger, and he means Tiger Woods, the golf player, versus Roger Federer, the tennis player. And the reason that he brings them up is because Tiger Woods specialized in golf from as early as he could walk. I think even in fact before he could walk, and his dad had this like plan for him that he was going to become an amazing golf player, and he started making him practice from really early on, and Tiger Woods went on to become one of the best golf players that's ever lived. The opposite is Roger Federer, who didn't know that he was going to be a tennis player until his teenage years, and he did loads of different sports. He played football, he played hockey, and tried loads of different things and had a very casual approach to it. And then he went on to become one of the best tennis players that's ever lived. The point of this book is to highlight that specializing really early on and knowing exactly what you want to do really early on is not necessarily the best way to guarantee success throughout your life. That is mostly applicable to things like golf and chess, which he calls stable environments or kind learning environments, where the variables are actually quite limited. But most of life is actually really unstable, and he calls these learning environments wicked, where more practice and more learning doesn't actually necessarily lead to better performance or better outcomes. The reason it's so important now is because careers are actually becoming so much more varied and so much more unspecialized, because lots of the specialized jobs now are being performed by robots or automated, and so as humans we're becoming like more problem solvers and more creative. And this book is basically what most of the world is actually going to be doing. It's basically having like really generalist careers, but with really specific skill sets across loads of different things. Careers in the modern world are super varied, and specialization is actually becoming less common. And so David's actually saying that doesn't matter. We can still thrive as generalists if we understand how to approach this problem. He essentially says explore and learn about lots of different things and be prepared to pivot and change where you're going, and pick up, basically what happens is you pick up lots of different skills and knowledge along the way, and you apply it to loads of different things in each job that you take on. You don't need to be an expert in coding or medicine or in a particular field. You can just work towards building knowledge and building skills that are going to serve you throughout your life. As a generalist myself, I've experienced a lot of this. I've had loads of different jobs, and all of the different jobs that I've had have all given me a little bit of information or some skills that I can apply to other jobs that I have. Even being a waiter or working in a shop, those jobs helped me perform in the future jobs that I had, even if it was just in terms of like professionalism or showing up on time or discipline or kind of respecting customers and things like that. They all teach you different things that you can use later on. So those are the 5 books, and I'd really recommend reading them. They have helped me so much. Essentially, the summary of all of them is that you don't really have to know where you're going. You just have to be intentional with your decisions, trust the process, be curious, try loads of different things, and reflect as you go about what you really like doing and what you find meaningful and how you can make money doing those things as well, because it's all really important. And I've definitely been really stressed out by this question of like, what do you want to do? Loads in the past. And these books have definitely given me lots of like frameworks and information to reference whenever I think, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing, or where am I heading, or what kind of like career should I be working in, or what industry is going to suit me best, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video and got some value out of it. You can watch another video of me talking about my career and how I chose it with this Venn diagram, with a Venn diagram in this video here. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.